Hey, what's up guys? It's Forest Man here. Today I'm going to do something kind of different. I'm going to do a recap of basically all of my videos up until today. I'm going to go over the strategy that I use, why I use the units that I use, how I use those units, where I place my heroes, how I do my attack. I'm really going to get in detail about what my strategy, how my strategy works, and why it works. So if you've seen some of my videos and tried this out yourself and have failed, hopefully this will be the video that can finally make everything come together for you and click. So hopefully we're going to get that done today. The way that I'm going to do that is by, of course, looking at a replay of an attack on this war, and again pausing and going in detail on why I do what I do. So again, if you're ready to learn, hopefully this video is going to help you guys out. What we're going to do is look at my attack on this Alliance's #1 player, Chino. He's a CC12. I mean, he's nowhere near a max CC12, but he offered the most loot in this war. And we'll look at my attack on him. And this was the very first attack on him, so I didn't have a previous idea about where his mines were or anything else. And actually, just to prove that to you, because I'm sure there's going to be some naysayers out there, we'll go into the attack log for this. Alright, so here you go. Chino right up here at the top. Now, as you can see, I'm still using the same units that I have for the last couple of videos. If you haven't seen my last couple of videos, you'll notice the assaults that I've added to my attack. What I did was substitute 10 assaults instead of 2 dragonfires. So, we're going to look at this guy's base real quick. I'll talk you through the strategy I used, and then I'm going to pause it at certain moments and kind of explain to you a little bit further about why I use the units that I do. Looking at a base like this, one of the first things that stands out to me is there's a big gap in the wall right here. I mean, anytime there's a gap in a wall in any base, especially like this one, it's a guaranteed shot that there's going to be a bunch of mines in there. So if you're doing any type of ground attack whatsoever, whether or not you're a quad attacker, ASAMs, if you're doing a mixed attack like me, it's a really good idea to use the Minesweeper. If you haven't maxed out your Minesweeper yet, that's got to be a priority on your list, especially if you're using a ground game. Mine's been 12 for a little while now. If you've got only level 4, 3, 4, 5, or wherever you're at, the Minesweeper is not nearly as effective, and it's much more difficult to use and to get the most out of it whenever you are shooting those Minesweepers, because sometimes they're hard to aim, and if you have a low level one, then you're gonna miss a bunch of mines a lot of time, and you're gonna get pissed off. And believe me, it's worth leveling that skill up. Start working on it now. I can't stress how important that is. So that's one thing that I noticed on this base. Another thing that I noticed on this base is, again, I'm a half Dragonfire attacker. So with the gunship, the big gunship cannon, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. The big gunship cannon, if I hit the big one right where that hero's post is in the middle of the screen there, I can get damage on both the communication center and this SAM turret, SAM turret to the left of that. So that's something that I'm going to keep in my mind. On this, and as you guys know at this point, I pretty much always attack on a hanger, because it's one less thing I have to worry about trip. If you trip it on purpose, and you don't have to worry about accidentally tripping it later on. With this base, the hangers are on opposite corners, so I know wherever I attack, whether it's the bottom left or the top right, that my very least threat to my units at the start is going to be that hanger, the other hanger. So what I'm going to focus on is the threats that are closest to me. So starting on, and I picked the top right side of the map, starting up there, my nearest threat is going to be the comm center and most likely this bunker to the left. So whenever I start my attack with all my ground units, and this is another thing that I need to stress, because I've seen people try my attack and fail and they can't figure out why. The reason is, whenever you drop your ground units, you've got to drop all of your ground units right at the same time. And I'm going to go off into another tangent within this tangent. The reason that I start with AGRs versus a Goliath I'm sorry, not a Goliath, versus a claw is because, let's talk about slot space and HP. If you look at your units, take a look at your claw, the HP that your claw has. I think for me it's around 7,200 or something for a max claw. And then for my AGR it's around 3,500. Claw is essentially 2.5 AGRs when you're looking at slot space. 25 for the claw, 10 for the AGRs. Well, the AGRs have a much higher HP per slot that you get from using those, so I'm hoping that makes sense. So 30 slot spaces of AGR is a lot more bang for your buck than 25 slot spaces for the claw. Not to mention the fact, when you also look at damage per slot space, the AGR just completely destroys the claw when it comes to damage. So if you're using a claw instead of an AGR to start with your first ground units, I really can't stress enough how important or how much better your attack would be if you switch to AGRs. And another plus about AGRs is you can space them out a little bit, and they can essentially be a buffer to the mines. So if there's, let's say, because I start my attack right up here in this corner above those gold miners. You know, let's say I drop just a claw first, and everything comes out of that hangar, and then I drop a bunch of Goliaths around it. Well, if there's a couple of mines on either side of the claw that I didn't catch with the claw, well, guess what? Half or more of my Goliaths are taken out, and that leaves my claw and my heroes vulnerable to whatever comes out of that hangar. So not only do you get more HP and more damage by using 3 AGRs than 1 claw, they also serve as a line of a mine buffer. So 2 or 3 of those AGRs can take out 2 or 3 of those anti-tank mines and basically protect the other units that you're dropping directly behind them. Also, whenever you're dropping those 3 AGRs first, then your ASAMs, then your Goliaths, that order's the best order to use. Whenever you drop soap directly behind or in the middle of those units. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm going to explain to you why. If there are mines in that area where those first machine ground units are deployed and they've already been set off, then when you go to use your minesweeper, you don't have to worry about being too close to any mines and killing your soap. Now, if you drop soap way off to the right on the very top corner, and you've dropped all of your ground units kind of right around these gold miners, and you go to use a minesweeper, well, if he's got a couple of anti-tank mines that are right in that corner right next to Ghost or Soap, and you use a minesweeper round, you're going to kill your Soap right then and there. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're dropping all your units. Drop Soap in the middle of the mess. And again, that sounds crazy because everything's happening right there, but don't worry about it, because it's your minesweeper will not kill you. Okay, so we've gotten through that, dropping your AGRs, ASAMs, and Goliaths, and then followed by Soap, and then an immediate care package. So that's how you start this attack. Also, again, minesweeper, minesweeper, minesweeper. Shoot a minesweeper straight down, aim for the gap in this wall, and you're going to see, once my attack starts, how many mines this takes off. Your next thing should be, again, this is what I always do, drop Ghost, send a launcher to the comm center to weaken that up. Then I'll use a lightning strike to go over to the bunker. Now the reason I go between heroes, and this is something that you can only see when you're attacking live, if you don't know this already, you can switch between heroes on the left side of your screen really quickly and really easily. You don't have to find them on the map and click on them to get to the skills. Honestly, it's probably best if you just drop all 3 right in the middle of the mess at the beginning, because with some skills you have to wait 2 or 3 seconds before you can drop another hero after you use that skill. So, launcher to the comm center in the middle, lightning strike to this bunker, and then gunship. Now remember to use on the gunship from biggest to smallest. Again, this is so important because you can use an entire gunship and get all your damage done so much faster and more effectively if you start biggest to smallest. The reason for that is you're not wasting any ammo. You're not wasting any of your damage from the gunship. If you start with the first one and let's say you use all of the smaller cannon and you get this comm center 80% done, well, if you then switch to your biggest cannon and use that, well, that took, let's say 40% damage of the communication center, but you've already used 80% of it, so essentially 20% is wasted damage that you could have used elsewhere. So, starting with the biggest one first, that way you can use exactly what you need to finish off the comm center, finish off the SAM turret, or SAM turret down here. And what I should have done, and what I did on a different attack, is the rest of my gunship could have finished off this bunker up here, because my lightning strike didn't finish it off. I ended up using another lightning strike up here on this bunker when I probably didn't need to, but not every attack's perfect. Sometimes shit happens, pardon my French. Okay, so once that's done, you've got your two nearest threats taken care of. Comm center in the middle, bunker in the top left. Your next big threats obviously are going to be your hangar down in the bottom left and this bunker in the bottom right. Now I chose to use my Dragonfires to take out a bunker, and that's pretty typical for me. If you're going to do that though, and again, this is back to Minesweeper, you got to throw a Minesweeper ahead of where you're dropping your Dragonfires. If you're using Dragonfires with my attack style or bots, either way works. You can do my attack with either units. I did a previous video using bots. But wherever you're going to drop your bots or your Dragonfires, you need to be sure to throw a Minesweeper in that direction first. Because if you don't, obviously anti-tank mines, EMP mines, auto-tracking mines, all that stuff can demolish a bot attack. And if you're using bots and you're not using soap, you're screwing yourself over, because I'm going to show you guys a replay later on where someone used a similar attack to mine, and they failed to get 3 stars because mines destroyed all of their siege bots. Alright, I think I'm done talking for now. I've hit all the main points. I've explained a lot of little stuff that I haven't really talked about in a very long time. I'm going to let you guys watch this replay now that I've talked you through it, and you're going to see how much time I have left on this Command Center level 10 that's got a, I'm sorry, Command Center level 12 that has a fairly good layout as well. I also have, just so you guys are aware, I have a mini account as well. That mini account is a Command Center level 8. I use the exact same strategy with that account. Obviously, I don't have as many slot spaces for my attacking units. There you see my launcher, and you're about to see the Minesweeper round go to that gap down on the bottom that I was talking about earlier. There you go. Who'd have thought, a bunch of mines down there. You can use this strategy if you're a CC8, CC9, 10, 11, 12, whatever you guys are. You can just, maybe on the CC9, since you have a little bit less units, what I would suggest doing is just getting rid of one of the ASAMs, so you'd have, everything is the same, but you'd have 3 ASAMs instead of 4. Everything else is pretty much the same attack. 10s, I mean, it's the same way. With my 8, I use 2 ASAMs, and I don't use any assaults. I think I used 4 AGRs on that one, just because the AGRs are a weaker unit, and I want to be sure that they can withstand damage from much higher leveled players that I'm attacking. I know with my CC8, I can take max Command Center level 10s and 11s all day long with that account. So there you see my other Minesweeper round to the bunker before I drop those Dragonfires. So anyways, this attack style works across the board. Watch my videos, learn from it. All the stuff that I'm saying, it's important. You know, you can't miss any of these steps. I know a friend of mine, Bond, he's in Dead Terrorist with me. He's been using this strategy for quite a while now, and he's one of those guys that, you know, started off, he's been with me for a while. Love that guy. He's become a fantastic attacker. I mean, just as good as I am from learning from my videos. He uses bots instead of Dragonfires, but he always says, you know, if this strategy works, and if you fail to get 3 stars, it's because you did something wrong. He said that the other day, and it kind of made me laugh, but it's true. If you listen to everything that I'm saying, and you do the steps, and you get everything, you know, in order, this attack really cannot fail. I know last war, I mean, there obviously mistakes happen. Sometimes, you know, things can go wrong. I make mistakes occasionally as well, but I really can't tell you enough how well this works, and I hope this video has helped you guys out a little bit. I'm not going to show you any more replays. This has gone on long enough, I think. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll hopefully do another live attack pretty soon here. And that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. And perfect timing on the supply drop. Let's just roll it at the end just to see what I get. Alright, well that's it for this one. See you guys.